I'm back, baby!
Dave Levin, welcome to the podcast.
How are we doing, good sir? I'm happy to be here.
All right, so Dave is a good friend of mine. We've been friends for a very long time. We're probably going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But
I mean, I would hope so. I think we need some context.
yes, a lot of people probably need context.
Yeah, for sure.
But first, Dave is a big PMA guy, positive mental attitude, and I was hoping you would talk to us about that a little bit.
So you know,
Well, I light a blunt.
yeah, get after it. I love it. Actually, kind of while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead
There
and
you
pour
go.
myself
Pour a drink. Yeah. So before we settle in,
You know, the whole PMA mindset that you have come to know me to have, I really don't have an origin story for it. You know, I feel like I just kind of woke up one day and realized that life requires conscious decisions for happiness, and I think a lot of people just don't really understand that it's an easy switch to flick.
was there anything that happened specifically that brought that on? Hopefully, nothing traumatic.
I mean, if I really had to sit down and think about it, I would tie it to probably my youth. You know, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. Couple instances in grade school where I would come home crying. You know, saying to my mom, "Nobody wants to play with me. Nobody wants to play with me." So I think growing up, experiencing that kind of lets you see at a young age, you know, how the world can sometimes be. You know, shit is not fair, and kids can be mean.
It's hard to think in the context of you today that you were bullied.
Dude, it's strange. I mean, and I wouldn't even qualify it as bullying so much as I guess I was just kind of felt like an outcast, you know? When you're, you know, first, second, third grade, you don't really see any underlying anything behind it. It's just kind of raw mean. Kids can be mean, you know, that's just kind of all it is. But, you know, without going through that, I would literally be nowhere near where I am today. So I can't be me who I am right now without having lived through that.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember, see, we came from an era where, like, because my whole thing was, I remember one time I, like, touched someone on the shoulder once, and they're like, he's gay! And I was like, all right. But it was funny, because it's funny to watch everyone's reaction to it. It was really why I got a kick out of it. But what was hilarious, well, it's not really funny, but people would have visceral reactions to you, being like, oh.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like, oh, you're fucking gay, leave me alone.
Different times, man, you know?
It's crazy. But that kind of was like a bully point for me. But like, I don't know, I tried to use it to my advantage. But I remember people would be like, they would jokingly say, oh, Joe's gay. Clearly I was not.
Sure.
It's just interesting how, because it's going to what you're saying, the cruelty of it, I guess.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're, you know, just to reiterate my point, you know, when you're that young, I think it's just, you know, it's a reactionary thing to kind of want to bully somebody. You're not thinking of the long-term effects that it's going to have on somebody, which I don't know. I guess now that I'm talking about it, maybe feels like it makes it even a little worse.
Well, yeah.
Like, blatant, you know, just want to be a dick, you know?
I mean, do you remember any, well, no, you said you weren't ever really bullied.
Yeah, no, it was just not having any friends and just kind of being an outlier, you know?
Interesting. Yeah, because I remember early on, my parents like setting up play dates. I don't even know if they were setting up play dates, but there's this one girl I liked in kindergarten, and they had us. I remember going over to her place one time, obviously supervised with your little kids. And then she came over to ours, but I don't remember struggling with friends. I just remember as I got older, I became a bit much for people.
Sure.
And by fifth grade, like, I think I was kind of outcasted from everyone.
And honestly, that very well could have been a factor in me. I mean, I was diagnosed ADHD in first grade, and they put me on Ritalin real fucking quick.
That's me in kindergarten, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're a year apart, so it's almost like the same.
Well, no, I would have been first grade, so I guess would have been second for you.
Well, so it happened to me first then. I was in kindergarten.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was at Indian Trail, and I don't know, my dad said, he was like, you look like a zombie when you were on it.
I mean,
I don't really remember.
It's a fucked up drug, man.
But yeah, I just think I just had high anxiety and shit. That's been my issue. They just, for some reason, were hell-bent on diagnosing everyone that way.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting how that's the case. Well, anyway, so let's bring it back to the positive mental attitude side of things.
You know, it's you know, like I said, in my instance, it's a conscious decision. You know, I don't want to fill my life with any, you know, negativity if I can help it. You know, obviously, like I said, life's not always fair. It doesn't always work out the way that we want. So I'm in the camp, having that information, knowing that I can at least have some sort of control in that aspect of my life by choosing to be glass half full, choosing to wear those rose-colored glasses. And listen, some might say that it's to a flaw. I think if you ask a lot of people who know me well enough, they would say that is, kind of literally how I live my life. But it seems to have worked out so far. Fuck, 41 years in, like, I mean, I think I'm doing okay with it, and honestly, I have no intention of ever kind of shying away from that, And
Well, go ahead.
no, I'm finished.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's such a simple, like, on paper it's so simple, but you just don't see anyone in practice. Like, I always tell people, like, again, I'm a perfect example of this because we were in our 20s. Used to always say this to me, and I was like, and I like waved it off, but I just didn't see the benefits of it, I guess, as being as volatile as I was back then. But like, it's just crazy because now, I mean, the way I look at it, like, if I could come around on it, then no one's a lost cause. Because I personally felt, I don't want to call myself a lost cause, but like, just being on the other side of the spectrum, so to speak, of PMA, and then coming around to it, it's just fascinating to me to try to explain this to people. Like, just have a positive attitude about things, and it's just not in the cards for some.
And
absolutely. It's fascinating. Absolutely. It really is.
So positive mental attitude, for me, it's not something that you can teach someone or show someone. It's something that they have to apply to their lives and experience themselves. The only way that somebody is going to understand that is, like you said, grabbing a hold of that attitude, making it a priority, and, applying it to your everyday life. And when you do see those benefits from it, and how just even like a normal conversation that could have ended, any other way, family member, a close friend, even somebody at work, like, with that positive mental attitude, you can literally remove those instances from your life.
It's fascinating to me to see how it's just such a. Actually, I'll say this, because to what you were saying, I used to always tell people, or I should say that you could have a videotape of the future showing that person engaging in whatever activity that you say they should be, positive mental attitude, for instance, but like, that's not going to do anything because they have to, what you're saying, go through the whole process 100%.
Of it. It's the only way.
And I think that's the biggest part of it, is you have to really have those experiences in understanding how having that attitude is beneficial. And it's just, again, I just can't get over how, for some people, I guess, it's just easier to be negative about things, which I guess is the path of least resistance.
Well, and listen, man, I am an inherently lazy person. Let's not fucking get it twisted. Like, I love the path of least resistance. But it just doesn't apply to everything every single time, things are sometimes unavoidable, and you have to adjust how you react to them, Yeah,
that makes sense. It's just a struggle for some. Like, one thing I think that's kind of interesting is watching a lot of people react to Caleb Williams now, who are big Justin Fields fans. Like, I think the guy, I saw this on the radio this morning, the guy that does the Bears podcast, like, there's an official Bears podcast, okay? The guy with the glasses, I think. I see him on YouTube all the time.
His face,
and I guess him and Cap got into it on Twitter, X, because this guy was like pro Justin Fields. He's Caleb's nothing, and now he's like all about Caleb. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. But you said, you were here about Justin. You can't just walk over and be like, oh yeah, I'm pro Caleb now. It's like, whoa, that's not how this works. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's acceptable. The moment that it was official that he was going to Pittsburgh, like, why not? You gotta support your team. Like, Justin is no longer a factor in that system, so why can't he jump over and start?
Well, I assume he's talking about in those months leading up to the trade, because remember, there were two camps.
Oh no, for sure. I was a Justin guy. I liked the way that he played,
and there were a lot of people that were like, no, we need to keep Justin. We're not. Hall.
Get the Hall. Get the Hall. Yeah.
I wish I had the bell.
Waddle and Sylvie. Shout out to you.
Hall. It's like, you can't pass on another quarterback like you did with C.J. Stroud last year. Look what he did. And I mean, I think the preseason's validating this argument, which, I mean, again, it's college football. It's hard to say, look at Pac-10 football, compare that to the NFL. It isn't the same, but, that's why I didn't really want to say too much about Caleb until we saw what he was doing in an NFL stadium, so to speak, with NFL snaps.
And
it's pretty impressive to see what we've seen so far. It's a little sample size, but still, I haven't seen a Bears quarterback do that in 30-plus years. I mean, Jake could throw the ball, but he couldn't make throws like that.
And I mean, I think, with even comparing him to Justin, like I think that they're just very, very different. You know, Justin, how I saw him was more of a running, like he was just a running threat. But those running quarterbacks never last long in the NFL. Michael Vick. I mean, I think Lamar Jackson might be the exception to the rule currently.
He can only get to the AFC Championship, though.
Well, there you go. Then that bodes well for the argument. Then.
Yeah.
But watching him throw that beam to fucking Adunze, man.
Yeah,
Dude.
I mean, he was moving to his left, throwing across his body. I mean, just anyone. He makes it. What's crazy is you watch it, you're like, oh, I could do that.
No, you fucking can't, bro.
No, that's how easy it makes it.
That's the whole argument. What's been going around recently, like men who are asked, "Oh, do you think you could tackle a bear? Do you think you could fight an alligator?" And like all you people out there who think you can, like these are literal like monsters, bro. They will indiscriminately eat you alive, no matter how strong you may be. This is like these creatures have survived the way that they have for millions of fucking years, bro.
There's a Twitter account called Nature is Scary.
Nature is fucking scary.
Have you ever seen this Twitter account?
I think
I wish I could pull it up here. Maybe I could, but
damn, Nature, it's scary,
dude. It shows some like I think I saw one where was it a crocodile or an alligator got like a jaguar or something like that?
Oh, like was
crazy
it one of the
shit
ones
like
where
that.
like the jaguar was like drinking from the river or whatever, and like fucking just comes up, wraps itself around him, and just starts stealing the fucking death toll.
And then you just see it like walking away with the body somewhere or something like that. You're just like, whoa,
Nature's terrifying.
I stopped really watching that one because I started seeing repeat videos after a while. But
dude, I remember like the first time I can't remember how young I was, but the first time I saw a video of ants protecting their hill, like something trying to get in there or something like disturbing the top. Like I'm talking mob mentality, bro. These fuckers are communicating with their fucking antennae. They're like, fucking code red, and these fucking things just come out of fucking nowhere and just destroy, anything that's fucking up their space. Like nature is scary.
I saw one where a guy's put in he put like a snake in a piranha tank.
Oh.
And they just slowly just devoured that thing until it was nothing.
The piranhas on the snake, you mean?
Yeah. And there was another one. I think he put like a turtle in there or something like that. There's nothing they could do to that.
I was just going to say, like, a snake in water doesn't make sense. Piranhas are fish, but snakes can fucking swim.
There's some snakes, that are.
Yeah.
I remember being in the Everglades. They have this, it's called Alligator Alley. And I was there in the early 90s.
I'm not interested. I'm not going there.
No, it's okay. We can still listen to this story. But it's crazy. Again, I don't know what it's like these days. When I lived out in Florida, I used to tell people about this place. I was like, it's like 3 or 4 hours from here. You had an option. Again, this is back in the 92, 93. And it was a bike ride, like, 5 or 7 miles. And I used to ride the bike paths all up and down here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nothing to me. But you could take a tram down there too. And at the end of it, there was like this huge lookout tower. I've probably talked about this on the podcast before. And there's like alligators just everywhere, just chilling. And you can, those like things you put 25 cents in.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
There's a bunch of those.
Like at the top of the Empire State Building or some shit.
There might have been concessions. I don't remember. But that bike ride down there was gnarly because we're talking a path maybe 7 feet, 8 feet wide. And there's water on both sides, and you'd literally be riding, and there'd be an alligator within snapping distance of you.
Fucking wild.
And I remember riding one time, and be like, "Whoa, Jesus!"
Yeah, one fucking mistake, dude. You eat shit one time, you're losing at minimum a finger.
My grandpa told me one time they had to turn around because it was just laying in the middle of the bike path. And
you pick it up, no, motherfucker, you pick it up.
No, it was like you couldn't even ride. Like they would tell you if you see them.
Not testing it. No.
But I do remember like riding my bike and looking in the water, and you could see like the little water moccasins moving, and I was more scared of those things than the alligators. Sure. I hate snakes,
bro.
Can't stand snakes.
I'm not a fan either. And then you see these videos. Well, I guess I see videos of people who will have like exotic pets, just like I don't know if they're boa constrictors or pythons, or all I know is that it's something that can strangle the shit out of you if it really wanted to.
There was one story. I'll find it, put it in post, and put it on the screen. About a lady who had hundreds of snakes, and I think some of them were like, I think she had one, it was like a burmeat, not a python, some kind of rare rattlesnake from Australia, and it was like almost her pet. Yeah. And she would just let it slither around, whatever, and she was cleaning the apartment one day, and I guess she had like a reclining chair, and she lifted it up to get the vacuum under that. and she didn't show up to work for a few days.
Oh my god.
So they did a welfare check on her, and they're like, "Oh,
yeah.
shit!" And they walk in, they're like, "Oh shit!"
Oh shit.
So, I guess this is kind of like, I guess if you like snakes, this is sad, but they didn't know, they realized what killed her, so they're like, they didn't know which one did it.
Right.
So they had to go in there and cut the heads off of each snake.
Oh,
and figure out
damn.
who bit her. That's how they knew. Yeah, isn't that gnarly? I keep using that word. That's my new word now, gnarly.
I like gnarly. Bring it back.
Yeah, it's. I was like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of killing snakes, but
I mean, no, not at all. I mean, not necessarily. Absolutely not.
If I had to guess, that was a state probably abusing their power a little bit, because
We
they're
need
like,
to know.
"Oh, we don't know which snake did it. We gotta kill all these snakes anyway." You know, like we gotta cut the heads off of each one, so we know. That's one way to abuse the rules, I guess. Save some money.
I mean, it seems unnecessary. Could they not? have just,
I
like,
believe so. Again, I don't like snakes, and even I'm on the
Yeah,
side
oh,
of
no,
like,
for
I don't want
sure.
you cutting the heads off of snakes.
For
you know?
sure.
I mean, shouldn't it be the one that's just running around the apartment? Wouldn't it be more logical that that's the one that did it?
The one with the most
But
energy.
no, we gotta cut all the heads off the
well-fed.
ones in these cages. It might be them.
Yeah.
Which
no,
again,
no.
from their perspective, you know, they don't know that she. I don't know how they know she lifted up the. I'm actually curious how they know that fact. If you think about it, it was just reported, but it makes you wonder, like, how would they know that was maybe the chair was lifted over?
Yeah.
I don't know. These things weren't. I don't remember it in that detail, but like a lot of those snakes were in cages, and I remember them saying they had to go in and then they tested the fangs against what hit her.
I
And
mean,
that's how
those,
they knew.
you know, those the people who, you know, the CSI folks who, you know, recreate murders or whatever it might be, like they're pretty intricate. So I trust that there's a system in play that would allow you to figure out, you know, without having to kill 100 snakes, which one did it. I don't know. Maybe I'm making shit up. Maybe that's why I'm not, you know, I don't work for a forensics company, but it just seems plausible to me, I guess.
Again, I could see their side of it, but at the same time, like, I mean, but then logic and reason isn't something the police really operate in.
No.
You know, well, again, it's almost like disturbing how often they just violate people's rights because it just makes their job easier.
Sure.
You know, it's kind of disgusting,
But,
actually.
I mean, those are the ones that shouldn't be in the job.
Yeah, but you see it from like supervisor positions too. Like
Mm-hmm.
Audit the Audit does a great job on YouTube with some of that. Like they'll show. I watched one where a guy.
Jesus, it's impressive how far you smoked those things down, man.
I'm done with that though. But
My
this
goodness.
guy was drunk as a cop. Came into work like he was working as a cop drunk, and I don't know. I think he like ran his car into something and just broke the back half glass. He just fucked the car up,
No
totaled it
shit.
basically. So he called someone in. They're like, "Oh, okay," and they bring him to a supervisor in the station. And he eventually admits, like, "I've been drinking, this and that," and they were just gonna send him home.
Stop.
His bosses were just gonna send him home.
No.
It wasn't until like the commander or something that was there was like, "No, you're charging him.
Like, arrest this
Like, this guy
motherfucker,
needs to get
dude.
charged." Yeah. But it just shows you the culture in some of those precincts. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's not even on the ground. It's the culture from the top down or from certain, you know, I'm sure that supervisor's covering for his guys. Like that one, he couldn't really cover for him.
Sure.
So it's just like, how often does that happen? And again, it just seems to come from, I just want my life to be easier.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's very conflicting stuff for me.
I mean,
Because I'm pro police, but at the same time, it's like, quit being a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's definitely going to be times where that will be acceptable, but I lead by example. You know, like, have some integrity. I know it's only you and your people in the room and, you know, whatever's going down, but like, what's the definition of integrity? Is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. I feel like the public is the one who should be watching. Just because we're not there doesn't mean that you can get away with shit, you know?
Yeah, well, I think that's a symptom or a cause of just not having communal societies like
Mhm.
we do. Because, you know, police used to be people that lived in your neighborhood.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and it's almost like you didn't even have to use arrests to police the neighborhood. Like,
Right.
you know, I'm just going to tell your mom you were throwing rocks at windows.
Honestly, sometimes that is the best course of action.
You know, I mean, I know that's like
gets the most results.
1940s city kind of living, but still, that's usually how police used to be set up. Where
Mhm.
now it's just so bureaucratic and corporate. Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you did break the rules and you are .08, so I'm forced to. There's nothing I can do, sir. It's just like, I don't know if that's accurate. You
Yeah.
know, maybe that is true, but like, it wasn't always that way.
Right.
And it's just kind of, I guess it's not authoritarian, but it just really makes you think. Like, I don't think the police were I understand the idea of public safety, but just the whole idea of like I've been pulled over in my driveway and they're still like wanted to search my car. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going inside.
Like, leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like, what are you? Find something else to do.
Those are those HP cops with nothing better to do.
Yeah, that was Highwood specifically.
Yeah.
And then I ended up finding out there was a pipe in my back and like it was in a zip
Like
it looked like a sunglass case.
like a pipe to smash someone with.
No, a smoke out
weed.
of.
Oh, weed.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain didn't
Yeah.
immediately go to a weed pipe.
No, it was, but it was in a like it looked like it was in a sunglass case. I remember he shined his light in the back, and he was just like, "Well, do you care if I search the car?" I'm like, dude, I just want to. It's 2 a.m. I'm trying to go home. Like, I don't want this to be dragged out any longer.
Literally
than it
on my
needs to
way
be.
into bed, bro.
Yeah, or actually, really, I think but now that I'm remembering it, I'm talking about it. I think he said, "Is there anything in the car?" And I was like, "No, I just came home." I'm like, I'm not, and I probably was so confident about it.
Oh, for sure.
He was like, all right, fine.
He's like, fine.
But then the next morning, I was like, is that Kenny's pipe?
It's like, oh shit.
Oh shit! Good
That
thing it was in
could've
that
gone-
cover.
That could have gone much different.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, because back then it was illegal here.
I was gonna say, what year was that?
03,
Oh, yeah.
02, something like that.
You would
A while back.
have gotten arrested for that.
At least 04.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it would not have been good.
That's another fucking insane thing. Just the vast difference in pot culture these days versus late 90s, early 2000s.
I'm still weird about it. Like, I'm always looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
If I'm in the car rolling a blunt, I'm like, what? I'm not doing anything.
And like, honestly, the convenience of dispensaries. I mean, I don't mind paying the insane taxes. Yes, Chicago, the taxes
Dude, the
are
city tax
fucking
here is
insane.
nuts. Yeah.
But I like the experience. I like knowing that I can just hop online, fucking pick out what I want, press order, get an email an hour later, you're good to go, walk in, show my ID, pay for my shit and leave,
You like how that place smells too.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. You just walk in and it's like, like you see me when you bring your fucking shit here, like I'll crack it open and I'll just put it up
Huff
to
it.
my nose and just huff it for a good like 2 or 3 minutes. It's such a great smell. It's just so fucking great. But we're a long way from the dark alley, beeping people, hoping that they'll call you back, like looking for fucking weed, nowhere to be found for hours, and then all of a sudden you find it at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then it's like I know you remember those.
Remember that
fucking
one
nights.
guy? I don't want to say his name, but over by the Jewel in Highland Park.
By the firehouse?
No. Where the police department is in Highland Park.
Oh, by the
and we
Toys R
used to-
Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we used to meet that person over there. Do you remember who I'm talking about? I think he was at the bowling. I really don't want to say his name.
I mean, you don't have to. We can do this off camera. But no, I'm drawing a blank. But my memory is not what it used to be.
Well, yeah. So anyway, when we went to the bowling alley, there was a guy you used to call, and we have to meet him at a house.
Oh!
Not the guy in Richfield. There's another one. And his
BA or where is his initials?
JR.
All right, give me. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And we'd sit over there for hours at
my
a time
God.
waiting
he would
for.
just, dude,
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, he had good shit, but yeah, and I wouldn't say the most prompt.
No,
pot dealer
I remember
that we've
waiting
ever
back
dealt
there
with.
like not hours at a time, but we'd be like, okay, we'll be over there soon, and then
Dude, that's
Wait.
a name. That's a name I have not
Wait.
thought of in quite some
because
time.
I knew him
Wow.
also prior to that. I think I must have been from high school. I can't remember.
I remember exactly where I fucking met him. Do you remember the old Sitco, the Jewel by the Jewel? Actually, no, closer would be Sunset Foods.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
shitty little Sitco.
Yeah, I remember that place.
Yeah, so he used to be the attendant over there.
Oh really?
And I used to walk in and buy cigarettes from him, and he used to sell them to me. That was how I met him. Yeah, and then we just started chatting it up. It just became buddies, and actually there was a point where I was hanging out with him like pretty often. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Me and good old JR. Yeah, we hung out.
Yeah, because I remember that was back when you had to just know someone.
Yeah.
It was very
absolutely.
frustrating.
Yes.
Because I remember many nights sitting at the bowling alley just
Text,
maybe this
or
guy.
not even texting.
No, it
like,
was just calling.
Yeah, calling.
And then the awkward, you
beepers and
call
shit.
someone you haven't talked to in forever just to ask them.
Hey, bro.
Hey, do you
how
know
are you?
anyone?
How's shit? Oh yeah. Also, hey, listen, we really need some weed. That'd be great.
Oh,
You
got
know?
it.
Those were all kind of awkward
I
conversations.
can't believe I had to live through those days.
No more though.
Yeah, but now I can just go buy 150 milligrams and
Isn't that
chow it
great?
down if I need to. It's just
Don't
expensive,
get
but
me fucking started on your Neptune trips, bro. Like, you know me. I eat a small fraction of that. I'm having.
are you gonna when we go to this miracle at
No,
the?
there will be no edibles.
You're not gonna eat any
No,
edibles?
absolutely not.
No?
I'll roll blunt after blunt after blunt. I'll smoke as much as humanly possible.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a plus.
Oh no, I'll smoke. I'm definitely gonna
Alright.
smoke, but I'm not eating any edibles, and I'm not doing any fucking dabs.
No,
So-
don't do dabs.
So
You'll have to go to the
so
hospital.
if the people we're going with, if they're starting to pressure me, I will not succumb to peer pressure. I refuse.
I wouldn't do dabs if I were
No,
you.
absolutely fucking not, dude. I'm too old for that shit.
Have you ever done moon rocks before?
No, they're terrifying. You see the videos? They like pull these, these fucking gigantic nugs covered in keef and like crack it open, and you can see the fucking. The fucking I don't know what is it?
I've rolled
terpenes or like what the fuck is?
I've
like,
rolled
just the
all
resin?
weed has terpenes, I believe.
But it's just like you pull it apart and the resin is just like gooey. Like
I've rolled
bro.
those into blunts before.
You're a fucking maniac, Joe. You are a literal fucking maniac. No.
Yeah,
No.
I found out about moon rocks down in Florida, and there was a guy selling them for like $20 a gram or something like
I was
that.
gonna say $20 a single rock. I mean, honestly,
No.
that would be pretty. I feel like that would be all right.
It was pretty, but I remember being
No bang
like,
for
"What
your
the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
I've thought about buying them at the dispensary, but I am told constantly it's not worth it. Just
Yeah.
buy the concentrate
Yeah.
and the key or something like that. But I'm like, but that's
to make your own.
yeah, I guess. But I'm like, that's not the fun. I don't
No.
want to do all that work.
That is a lot of work.
Yeah, I'd rather just pay for the convenience.
Yeah.
It's like again, some people just don't understand
Yeah.
that concept.
It's
I guess.
well, maybe just this generation's too coddled.
Apparently.
it all
Don't get me started on
from
that.
the participation trophy generation.
Did you ever hear how the thumbs up is considered offensive?
Yeah, because the Gen Zs think it's passive aggressive, but you know what? Like, not for us.
'Cause I guess, like,
sorry, bro.
well, I guess
No.
that's- I guess in their culture, their texting culture, and maybe this is I've seen some people use it this way too. Is like if you're like in an argument or a discussion with someone, it gets a little heated. You just send like, and it's just kind of like.
Fuck you. That's you're
that's-
basically sending the middle. Finger
Yeah, I
at that
think it
point,
kind of stems from that because I heard someone talk about that. I'm like, I bet that's where the
Oh, yeah.
the nexus of this is from.
For sure.
Because I'm like, how else would being like,
constitute as
yeah, it's not
as
passive. It's just like
passive-aggressive.
live off your phone, you fuck.
There you go,
It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
simple. Jesus Christ.
kids.
Yeah, well,
Fucking kids.
you have a few.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
two,
that age.
Two myself. God, both 23, 2 months apart. It was a busy year.
The boy.
The boy, and Angelis. Yeah.
Do
No.
they live on their phone?
I mean, Nicholas, not really so much. I mean, but Nicholas was never really a deep in your phone kid. Like, when he's using it to like listen to music or like search for something, yeah. But in my experience, I never saw him as like an over user of his phone.
I had a friend tell me. I have a friend that's their son's 16,
Mm-hmm.
17, 16, at least last summer. And I was like, are they going out causing havoc like we are?
Yeah.
I was like, no, he sits on YouTube all day, even on
Yeah.
Friday nights. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that's all.
That's fun.
Even the wife
Yeah.
chimed in. She's like, oh yeah. I was like, that's all they do. They don't even go out ever. And it's just crazy. And I guess I also heard too, like a lot of kids don't even get licenses anymore. Like when we were in high school.
Nicholas still doesn't have his license. He's 23.
And I guess Uber is a reason for that. And as someone pointed out recently, cars are fucking expensive now,
Absolutely.
which is a great point.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine being 16 and trying to buy a car now?
No, fuck no.
I mean, you could buy a beater for like $300 when we were in high school.
I mean, dude,
It ran.
I remember the conversation you and I had a couple weeks ago where you were just like a $400 to $500 car payment is the norm now.
Yeah.
That
No,
on
it's like
top-
600 now.
See, even fucking worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that on top of insurance, gas, maintenance, like it's completely out. Like it's not an option. At
Especially
least
if you're
the
like
way
a
I feel.
kid.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
working at McDonald's part time no longer will pay for any
No,
of that stuff.
absolutely not.
Like because that's how it was when we were younger. It's like as long as you had a job, you could cover at least some of that.
Oh yeah. Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like I guess car payments. That's why I think people used to like to buy the car outright because then you have to worry about the car payment, just had the insurance, and you have to have full coverage on it. But
Yeah.
insurance wasn't like it is now either.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So it's just crazy how. And then we haven't even talked about food yet.
Sure.
So it's just like it's just crazy how different it is.
It does. The food inflation for the food, it has gotten out of control for a few things. But like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not losing my shit over paying $6 for eggs. Like, I'm gonna eat the eggs anyway. I fucking need them. It is what it is. I feel like it goes up, it goes down. I guess for me, the price of food is negligible.
It's just
Is that the word? Negligible? No.
well for you, I guess it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. I would think a lot of people would disagree, but I know what you're saying.
Sure.
I understand that. I remember prior to the pandemic, this is probably before I even started the podcast. Maybe it was kind of in between, before and then during, in the beginning days. But like, man, I was working at that biscuit house, not making a lot of money, and I remember having to stretch like $10 maybe it was about 10 a week or something like that. You know, because we got paid every 2 weeks. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe it's like I had, you know, money set aside for stuff, and then usually by the time it got down to it, there's maybe, I remember at times having $10 to $12. If it was really bad, it was down to 7. But like, yeah, I could make that work and stretch that between. I mean, I don't eat a lot of food, really. That's number one. But I remember just being able to get basic necessities, eggs, whatever. Like nothing was like through the roof where you're like, oh God, like this is gonna break me. You know. Now it's like,
now we're paying $35 for like,
you can't leave without paying $20.
It's a lot of toilet paper, but it's still 35.
Yeah,
fucking
like
dollars.
good luck leaving without paying $10 for less than 2 items.
Oh yeah, no, you literally you walk out of your door, you're boom, $60 right there.
I think milk used to be like $1.60 back then.
Dude, back in those white hen days when they would have the fucking signs up.
Oh
in the
yeah,
window. Oh yeah.
Like even at Walmart in Florida before the pandemic, I remember it being like in that $2 range, and now it's like $3.60, $5. I mean, here out in Chicago, it's kind of cheap for milk at Jewel, which is kind of surprising.
Sure.
But I think that's because there's more competition down here versus out there.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, you go get 2 bagels and cream cheese, $5 out the door for 2 bagels and cream cheese.
I would be happy with that.
But it's expensive.
I don't know. It seems.
I mean, if I wanted to pay that to go to Einstein's or some shit.
2 bagels, two bagels with cream cheese for both bagels.
Now I do eat a lot of cream cheese.
I mean, look, we're about to schmear in this household.
That's what I'm saying.
Understand. Yeah.
Like that, and it's an 8-ounce container. Will basically cover 2 bagels. That's 4 ounces, 2 ounces to each side.
Joe, my guy, $5 for 2 bagels and cream cheese is not.
That's a lot of money.
No,
it should at least be. It should not be $1 per bagel. And then the 2 bagels are almost the same cost as the cream cheese.
No.
You can cut that shit in half. It should be like $2 for 1.
$5, 2 bagels, 2 cream cheese. That's 2 meals. That could be 2 meals for you. Is it that bad now?
Well, I'll eat that in one sitting. Probably.
Well, that's your choice. You're choosing to eat both of those bagels. And listen, I'm not judging. Look at me. I'm a big boy. I love my bagels.
Not like you used to be.
No, I'm not. But I'm still a hefty boy.
I mean, you were pretty hefty back then.
No, God, my heaviest. God, I was pushing like 290.
Really?
I think was my
what year was
like
that?
280, 290. Fuck, I'm not good with this shit. Like when the ecstasy night where we took the picture of my hair, the picture I'm talking about. I think in that picture, I was about 280.
Oh damn!
Wow, yeah,
geez.
that was 2010, 2008. What year was? I mean, like I said.
Yeah, because I was thinking about when we went to that Cubs game in 2008.
The playoff game.
Yeah. No, there's a Houston game we went to, and Troy Hawkins was there, and he kept.
Oh yeah, that was.
There's a picture of us on Facebook.
Oh, no,
I think I had the chops back.
I had my really bad goatee.
Damn.
It was really fucking bad, man. But I remember we were walking on the concourse third base side, and they were doing batting practice, and the fucking dude got hit. Dude got hit in the back with a foul ball, goes fucking down. You just swiped down.
I remember catching
you reached
it.
down and you swiped that ball, and we just like sauntered off.
I forgot someone got hit. I totally forgot about that.
I remember that pretty well. Yeah.
Just like, yes, finally caught one.
Yeah, dude.
There's a picture of me holding that ball too.
Oh yeah, yes. You had the chops rocking. I think you're. Were we watching the Red Sox at that point? Yeah, because Red Sox got us in 04. So I don't know if you were wearing a Red Sox hat or a Cubs hat that day.
I think we had just gone to. No, I was probably wearing my Cubs stuff. Okay. Because I think we had gone to Boston that previous June. Right. It was a fall game, I believe. Yes.
We were just talking about that fucking trip. That was a very impromptu, incredibly unorganized, but like core memory trip.
Yeah, that was 2. I remember we looked it up. It was like 2 tickets at the pesky pole for. I think they were 45 a piece.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
45.
It was. I can't remember.
Something like that.
Cheap. I'm pretty sure you were with me when you got the tickets because I feel like I vaguely remember you being like showing me your phone, and be like, yeah, bro, like they're cheap as fuck, and I'm just like, all right, fuck it, get them. Let's hop in the car.
I think driving out there cost more back then.
Oh, for sure.
Gas was like $4, which is kind of. It was like, yeah, that's what it is now, but that was like way expensive for gas back then.
If 4 wasn't 4.
It was like 4.
Here in Boston.
In all the cities, it spiked back then.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah.
I guess I have to.
I'll
trust
fact
your
check it. I'll
memory.
put it right here. I'm
There we
sure
go.
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I remember paying like an exuberant amount of money compared to 7 years. Because I remember
Right.
when we first met that summer, it jumped to 2, and I'm like, what is this madness?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just funny to think how now it's like just regularly $4.
Bro, I remember in high school, I would take Chantel's car to Deerfield, and I would, somebody would ask for a ride home. Cool, all good. I would say $5. $5 would get me a pack of cigarettes and a gallon of gas. Unreal.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
now it's like good luck with that.
Yeah.
You ever seen the end of the Harold and Kumar go to White Castle?
It's been so long.
I think I showed that to you.
I don't remember it.
I'll splice that in here too. But yeah, it shows them ordering all that food. He's like, I'll have a Diet Coke, a super pack, whatever the fuck. He orders like all this motherfucking food.
Looks like you guys had some night, huh?
I want 30 sliders, 5 French fries, and 4 large cherry Cokes.
I want the same, except make mine Diet Cokes. Chuck.
Wow. Well, that comes to 46.
And it's like $45 for everything they ordered.
Oh my
And
god.
I think someone adjusted it for inflation, and it was like it's like
170.
something like that. It's like 130, 128. It's just like Jesus Christ. It just like gives you an idea.
Honestly, there's literally a White Castle at the end of this block right down here. We should go and see what
Would you
it
say
fucking costs us.
it's a gross kitchen though?
No, it's fucking horrid, bro. The last time I walked in there, this was 6 months ago. My roommate and I, Kat, we were just high as fuck, and we're like, we're hungry. We haven't had it in a while. Let's order it, and we'll take a walk. We'll walk with the dogs, and we'll go pick it up. I'm like, fucking cool. Let's do it. So we ordered it. Oh, it's ready. So we got the dogs, went on down there, and I remember walking up. They have this sign. It says right here with fucking arrows pointing to this window. Pick up your pickups here. So I'm standing there. Nothing. Nobody even can't even look, and you're not seeing anybody. Nothing. I'm knocking, nothing. I'm like, all right, what the fuck is going on? Finally, I walk up to the front, and they're all like kind of tucked. They were just kind of tucked behind a wall, and they're waving me in. And I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, I'm high. I'm high at this fucking point, and you know that when I'm high, I don't want to be interacting with anybody.
Yeah.
I would just kind of really want to be on my own, doing my own thing in my own home, in my own space. So I'm like, okay. Muster up the fucking strength. All right, here we go. And I walk in, and it's just like there was like a haze in the air, like over the fryer, over the fucking like thing, over the thing. Like they're gonna know what the fucking thing is, the register. And it was just very dingy. It was dark. It was gross. It was not a place that I don't think would ever eat again. But that being said, those chicken sandwiches slapped.
Did you still order from there?
Unfortunately, I was high enough. I was high enough.
just
There was
looked
like,
the other
all
way.
right, yeah. I mean, when you're already that motivated, you've already taken the trip down there. You've already exerted the energy. You might as well get a payoff for it.
That's true.
But those fucking chicken sandwiches, those are the ones that I would get when we'd go to the casino.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, you beat me to it. Yeah, I was thinking about those days. That was the Texas Hold'em days.
Yeah, party poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I started going to the casino when the Texas Hold'em craze was in full swing. It has to have been. I think I started going at the end of 03.
Okay.
And that winter going into 04.
Yeah.
Because
that feels about right.
I think I looked at the Joliet Casino and it was like an hour away. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about. It was longer than that. It was probably an hour and a half. I was like, I'm not doing that. But that was at Harrah's, and I think that's why it was like brand recognition. But then there was one in Aurora, so that's how I found that one. I knew there was one up in Elgin, but I think it was just a boat, and they had no table games. But they had Hold'em at Aurora, so that's why. But that was only like an hour away back then. So yeah, that's why we started. I started going out there playing Hold'em, but I got really. It wasn't I got bored with Hold'em. It was fun, but 510's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were watching Rounders, obviously.
Yeah.
If you've seen Rounders, probably understand. But it's still fun to play. It's just a little bit more of a predictive game because like you're only going to play when you have hand. Like you can't bluff your way through. Obviously, I mean, you can if you have the money. But
what do they say? Play the player, not the cards.
Yeah, and it's just. But with the way 510 is, I just remember being like, you can't even really bluff it either. I mean, you can, but it's just so it's $5-10. Like people are just be like, fuck it, I'll play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't work the same way. You know, it doesn't have that same panache. I guess.
Sure.
So I remember one night I was down to like $5, and I went to the blackjack table. I ended up turning that into a few hundred.
Hell
And I think
yeah.
that's when I started dragging you with me.
Yeah.
But it was after that, you know. And
like
then, but
you
then we
get-
found craps not too long ago.
Oh man,
And that was the best. I love craps.
it's ruined my life, Joe.
I want to play
No, I'm
craps
fucking
again.
with
I
you.
haven't played in a while.
Dude, it's fun. It's still fucking fun. I still play the field like it's nobody's business. I remember when we first started, and people would say the field's the sucker's bet, and I'm like, I don't fucking know, dude.
I don't know about that.
I'm making I'm making money. Do you remember that first time that I made like $1,200?
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude.
You bet hard.
Oh no. High risk, high reward,
Yeah.
through and through, man. There's no doubt about that. And I tell that to people too when they ask about craps, like, what's it like? I'm like, well, it's a really fun game, but like you can be up really, really quickly and really, really nicely, and then literally it could all be gone in a matter of minutes.
yeah.
So you really have
Especially
to be
if
weary
you-
about how you're betting.
Well, especially if you bet aggressively.
Well, and I don't drink when I gamble. I drink when I'm doing podcasts, very clearly. But no. If I'm at a casino, unless I'm there to just literally lose money and I don't care about winning money, I'm not going to drink when I gamble because I know it's called a track record and a history, and I get reckless when I drink. So, the two have just never been something that I mixed. So, but it's a rush, man. It's a fucking rush. We should go.
It's
You wanna
been
go-
so
you wanna go-
long.
You wanna
I
go
mean,
now?
no.
Are you sure?
No. You probably should stop drinking that.
Yeah,
then.
no, see, there we go. Case in
perfect. Yeah,
point.
case in point. I'm trying to remember the last time I played craps, let alone been to a casino. But I know I played somewhat. Well, I went to the Dells last year, but I was having an issue getting cash out of the bank.
Mhm.
Something was going on with that. I can't remember. So I was like, whatever. So I just ended up calling someone while the other two guys were playing. And I think they had video craps in Wisconsin, which I don't really care for that.
I know. See, and I like the video aspects. Like, I wouldn't do blackjack. I wouldn't do poker, but like video craps, video roulette. I feel like I've had success on that. I feel like I hit the zeros on those video roulettes more than on an actual table.
I guess it's just
I like the zeros, man.
experience of being, hearing the ball clanking.
for sure. The visual of all the chips stacked up. Also, speaking of those fucking chips, I love how intuitive casinos are these days. You know how like when you'll have the table of the roulette. Everybody's got their shit, and basically what they do, they put the marker on the number that hit, and then they just swipe the rest of these chips off to the side. Have you ever noticed that there's like a little hole that they just sweep them in the hole, and then the machine like sections them out? And
No, I've not seen that.
Oh, dude, it's
That's
super
must be newer.
cool. I mean, like, imagine how they'd have to do it before. They'd have to get all the fucking chips, put them all together, organize them all, stack
I remember
them
them
up,
having to
put
do
them
that.
back. Like,
It takes it longer.
like literally just sweep the board, push them in this fucking hole, and they fucking pop back up like all fucking organized and ready to roll.
Well, that's kind of nice.
To work smarter, not harder.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, the dealer's basically sitting there separating chips when another hand could be being
Yeah,
played.
casinos like, we need more money. Fuck you, you need
Well,
more
that's-
money. But also, like, smart move. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you could tell a company came to them like, "Hey, I got an idea." for you."
yeah.
Some dude was sitting there watching.
Let's
those,
have a chat.
some guy is sitting there watching that. That'd be an interesting story. But yeah, it's kind of amazing all the gizmos you see now. Now I'm starting to feel old because like I'll see something like, wow, that's kind of fancy.
Bro, I
schmancy.
mean, I think on the blackjack tables too, they have the cell or the automatic shuffler. They just put like two decks of cards on each side, and it does its fucking thing.
Don't they have like blackjack tables where it's like 6 decks in it?
I'm pretty sure
I remember being somewhere.
most card games are gonna be like multiple decks.
Yeah, it'll say like how many decks they're using. I think.
Yeah, I follow some IG pages about gambling, and like I know it's the fucking internet. It could be staged for all I know, but no, like I've seen videos where it's like the dude will get 2 9s, he'll split those 9s. First 9 there, okay, next 9, boom, gets another 9, splits those 9s, and like before you know it, he's got 5, 5 or
With that
4
big
or
deck,
5
yeah.
split, like all in a matter of like 7, 6, 7 cards. So that's why I feel like most card games these days are going to be with multiple decks. I mean, also card counting, it's a deterrent for casinos to get taken, which I'm a firm believer that if you get taken, you're still going to do fine.
Yeah, but it's these big
suppose,
corporations.
yeah.
It's money.
Yeah,
All those quarterly reports got to have plus this.
Yeah.
Like I remember working at Lou Malnati's back in the late '90s, and everything was by hand. Like they had a book where they'd log all the
a ledger.
Yeah. And I remember one of the managers explaining to me like, "Oh yeah, we're under like 10% from last year." And I'm like, "Why does it matter?" And he's like, well, we need to beat it by X amount, whatever the percentage was every year. And I'm like, okay, but I'm like, how can you? Because I understand now as a guy, because you're trying to grow the business and set a goal for that. But it's just like,
Pardon me.
aren't you going to get to a point where it's going to plateau if you're growing at like 5% every year? Within 10 years, you're going to grow the business in half.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible, sure, but I just mean like, when is enough enough?
I mean,
how many yachts can you ski behind?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and that's
maybe I'm missing something.
I mean, that's a subjective question. Like for me, I'm sure I'd be fine with like 10 million. I can make 10 million last a generation. You know, properly invest it, turn it into more. But like,
there's someone out there that's like, this guy hasn't tried like leather loafers yet.
Yeah.
Like those what was those Bruno Mollies that like OJ was wearing.
Dude, I know that I've said this to you. Even if I were a multimillionaire, I would still get my fucking clothes at Target. I love the Goodfellow brand. The clothes are nice. I like the way they look. I don't need anything else.
You say that until an Instagram model's like, "Get the fuck away from me!" But I have millions.
Listen,
like,
no.
I have millions.
No, see, I'm not about that life. I don't want it. I don't want an Instagram model to be all over me because I've got money.
You say that.
I want her to love me for me.
No, she'll love you for your money.
I mean, that's probably.
But she's willing to do things to you that she probably normally wouldn't do if you didn't have money.
Then you know what? If anything, it'll just be a temporary thing. I'll get my rocks off a few times and move on.
But that's assuming she'll like you if you have Target clothes on. My argument is
that's very true.
You're not gonna get that wearing Target clothes. They're gonna sniff you out quickly, like this fucking bum.
But you know damn well the type of women I like, Joe, and they ain't supermodels. Give me a big girl.
Tortas.
Dude, give me
Tortas.
give me a thick girl. Give me a bigger girl. That is my vibe. I'm sorry, skinny women. You're beautiful, but you're not my first choice. I need more. I need more.
Dave doesn't go to the bar. He goes hogging.
Boom. I don't discriminate, you know. Well, I mean, listen. Of course, I have my limits, but I don't think that they're very strict. You know.
Do you like Asian women?
I do like Asian women. They're few and far between for me. I think I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 off the top of my head that I was like, yo, that's my vibe. I remember Lucy Liu. I loved Lucy Liu.
Oh yeah, she is.
When I was younger, yeah, Kill Bill. She did the fucking Charlie's Angels. I
She's
was all
old
about
now.
Lucy Liu. Oh yeah, she is.
I
Like,
saw her in
back
something
then,
recently. I was like,
my
oh,
guy.
shit.
No,
Jesus.
she's hot. The other one is she played. Do you remember that horrible? Was it? No. Yes, it was the Dragon Ball Z movie. The really, really bad one with Chow Yun-Fat as Master Roshi. Oh no, there's Dragon Ball Evolution. Do me a favor. That's something you should pop up right here. Show the people what Dragon Ball Evolution was.
That wasn't like from the VHS tapes.
No, this was like the first live action movie
from
the States.
Okay, I think I have a vague remembrance of
the dude
this.
from the first season of Shameless, the car thief. I can't remember the actor's name, but he is a white man who played Goku. What I always suspected was an Asian man. The hair was horrible. The writing was horrible. The acting was horrible. It was bad.
Okay, no, I do remember this.
But there's an Asian woman. I want to say she played Chi-Chi. I can't remember the actress's name, but I'm pretty sure she was on the season of The Real World. I have always found her to be incredibly beautiful.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about.
Like you can see her. You can see her in your head,
I know who you're talking about because
Yes.
I remember seeing when this movie came out. I was like, "Isn't that from?"
Yes.
Yeah, she was on The Real World.
The other one for me, Brenda Song.
I don't know that one.
Yo, Brenda Song. I think it's Macaulay Culkin's wife. She was in The Social Network.
Would she play in The Social Network?
She was the 2 Asian girls that fucking Zuckerberg and what's the other fucking guy? Garfield's character. Like they're in like Facebook starting to pop off. They go to the club. They meet these 2 Asian women.
It was one of them.
And they're like, "Oh, are you Mark Zuckerberg?" Something like that. And they end up dating. I'm pretty sure Zuckerberg married. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he married the one that he met that night.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Brenda Song is the actress who played one of those girls in the movie. She's absolutely stunning.
Did you like that movie?
She's gorgeous. I love Social Network.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, Sorensen?
Aaron
Sorkin. Sorkin did that one, yeah. Very, very much. I did. And I know Jesse Eisenberg is kind of wormy for some people, but I thought he played the role.
Yeah, no, I think he did pretty
well.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never thought he wasn't Zuckerberg. I mean, looking at him, he's not, but it seemed like he embodied that role.
Oh no,
pretty well.
for sure. Mannerisms, the look, the hair, for sure.
Do you like Justin Timberlake in that
Homie,
movie?
I don't care what anybody says. I think he's an incredible actor. I think JT is so fucking talented, bro. Except it's not great when he gets arrested for DUI in Chicago, like the night or two before a concert. Yeah.
I remember that happened, and immediately, hold on. No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I remember like the next day or over the next few days, like stories were coming out like, oh, the cop that arrested him is hated in Long Island. You know, and it was I read the article.
This dude, like, he had drugs in his system. He like JT was on some shit when he got fucking
So
old,
it makes
dude.
you wonder, like, who put those articles out there?
Interesting.
It's not like he's got a publicist or anything that's got a motive or
True.
You know, trying to like clean his name up and dirty up the poor old cop who's just a working stiff.
Homie, you know, it's, you know, just like UFOs and aliens, you can't prove they don't exist. You can't prove that your theory isn't real.
There's another video I watched on YouTube. What was it called? I want to give the person credit. It was Coffee and something.
Weed and coffee?
No. It was this blonde lady that did it.
Coffee talk.
And it was a whole like, I don't call it a takedown of him, but just kind of spotlighting like, yeah, this guy's kind of a dick. You know, like he basically just uses people to further his own career, and like he did Britney pretty dirty if you think about it.
Sure.
Did you ever hear like that came out I guess in her memoirs?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's probably where that information was sourced from. But you're just like, oh crap, and then you see what happened with Janet Jackson because remember he didn't get any flack for that, you know, and I remember him kind of skating through that, and she just got destroyed, which is kind of crazy to think of how different the culture was 20 years ago, and that's what's happening there.
It was the first live nipple I've ever seen.
Yeah, and YouTube, the thing this video's sitting on is created from that.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are from like Glen Ellen, I think.
Oh, Illinois, no
Those
shit.
two guys they're two college kids. Because I remember in 2006, I was at work at California Pizza Kitchen, and I remember reading the newspaper like, oh, these two college kids sold YouTube that they created to Google for like $600 million.
Unreal.
And I think they do like $2 billion annually now.
Jesus
but they probably got Google stock part of that. I don't think it was a cash deal.
Sure.
I'm sure there was Google stock involved in that.
You take back end shit on a deal like that.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure.
You'll be sitting pretty.
So I'm sure they had some cash, but yeah, I'm sure they're doing pretty good now. Because well, Google has. I think the government has. There's a judge that's Google's monopoly, and they're talking about breaking it up.
I mean, I think it's a good idea.
And I think their stock has been kind of hit from that. So hopefully they sold recently.
Well, I mean, yeah. And honestly, like, I think they're still going to be okay. It's fucking Google, you know?
Yeah, well, they definitely have an ad monopoly. That's their whole business. It's just that whole thing. I mean, I couldn't even explain to you what their business really is, but I know it's got something to do with selling ads on the internet. And I guess it's the data tracking, too. You know, it's just like when they say, like, something's for free. You're probably the product.
Yeah.
Like trading. I remember telling you this a few weeks ago. Like when you trade on TD, Ameritrade, or Robinhood specifically, that's the one everyone knows about. But the other companies do it too. Like TD Ameritrade will allow you to trade and there's no commissions or anything like that. But what that means is like they're probably selling the data that they're mining off of you. And then also what I found out is, and I think it was from that Robinhood doc on HBO or Netflix, there's a bunch of them, but they were talking about a lot of these, because, you know, like the craps table, what we were talking about earlier, like there's all these different bets you can make. And banking is like a giant crap table, apparently. In the docs about Robinhood that were on Netflix and wherever the fuck I saw it, they talked about that with these banks, with these multiple, you know, because they can do all these different things. And one of the different things that they can do when they offer, like, for instance, trading for free is that they can bet against the people that are investing.
We did have this conversation, I remember.
So, like, I think that's called a B book. And an A book, I assume, is rich people basically paying fees or fiduciary fees or whatever. But, like, I think the bank's betting that their money is going to be, they're going to bet in a bullish fashion for their money, where they're betting against the overall market in a B book.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fascinating because that makes you realize, like, oh, well, that's why this shit is free, you know, because the bank's going to make money off of you one way or the other by data mining you or just betting against you.
Okay. I just want to point out, everybody, anybody who's like an Office fan, yes, this is Kevin Malone, and yes, he's eating broccoli. Of you 8 people who are watching, I hope that this brings you joy. Because I love The Office, and I just want to make people happy.
Do you have one with him dropping the chili?
No, but when I went to the Office Experience, they had like chili on the ground.
I
And
think I saw that on your Facebook.
Yeah,
thing.
and you can hold the pot, and like I took pictures. Actually, I think I have some on my phone. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Do you ever watch that podcast of like where Jenna and the Angie chick do it?
Angela? No, I don't.
There's someone that like has done them on YouTube. Like, I mean, they're not in order. I watched a few of them, and they talked about the one when Dwight was on that rubber ball for his chair at the desk.
Yeah.
So they said they bought like 17 of them.
Yeah.
Right? Let me
because they have to. Because they had to pop.
You know
them
the story?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but I can see.
So yeah.
I can see where
So
it's
because
going.
you know how it ends, right?
Yeah.
So they said they practiced it like with a few of them, and they told Kaczynski like he was like I was worried about popping the ball, and they go, well, you'd have to hit it a certain way, a certain millimeter. It's like statistically impossible for that to happen. So like, okay, so they go through like the 12, 13. I think they used 5 of them to practice. There's 17 total.
Sure.
So they used like 5 of them to practice. I'm making the number up, but it was something like this. 3 or 4 or 5 to practice, whatever it was. There was 12 left over. They did 10, 11 takes.
Right.
And they were like, all right, we're wrapping next shot. They were like, well, we got one more left. And they're like, all right, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And they go, that was a take where it popped, and they ended up using that one.
Oh no shit!
And if you actually watch it, because I watched it again, and it's kind I noticed immediately. You see Krasinski immediately move out of the frame and put his hand over because he's laughing hysterically. And they even say, like a pro, he pulls out of the shot just in case they ended up using it.
Right.
And they liked it so much they ended up using that for that intro, that cold open. And I was like, oh, that was fat. That's I like those kind of stories.
Those little tidbits that I really get a kick out of.
So I had a friend that used to listen to that podcast, and they would say that was pretty fun, but I was like, I just didn't seem any interest until I found those YouTubes. I'm like, okay, I can see
for sure
how that would be a good one to listen to.
So like 2 Christmases ago, Kat's mom bought me the Office like autobiography book, and I read a little bit of it, but I put it away and just never got back to it. But in like the 25 pages or something that I got through, like just like that, like a couple stories are just like those fun little tidbits, you know, and obviously I know the show very, very well, so even just reading this, I already knew in context what scenes they were talking about, you know, who was in the scene, what was going on. It's fun to kind of like look back at a show that you really appreciate, like kind of in you know, reading a book, you know. It's
Oh yeah, I read a book about Back to the Future, like the first one, and how like not it was chaotic, but because like they talked about how Eric Stoltz was on it. They shot for X amount of weeks, and then they're like, "Yeah, this isn't working." I guess he was kind of annoying on set because he was a method actor.
Sure.
Remember we talked about method acting?
Yes.
Like you can only refer to them as their character name.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, "This guy's
this fucking Marty,
Yeah.
Marty, you piece of shit." Yeah.
but he wasn't funny. I guess he was trying to be more like serious with the role.
Okay.
And they kept asking Zemeckis, the director, was like, yeah, can you try to be a little more like I don't know what he said. I don't know the notes he was giving him.
Sure.
But I guess they were looking for more of a comedic tone to what was going on, and they were like he was like treating it like it was like a dark movie or something like that. And I think there's
my guy, you're not winning an Oscar.
and there's
for this.
clips of his wardrobe, and his wardrobe is like all dark clothing. It's almost like he picked. I don't know if he. I don't know how that works in acting.
I was going to say, did he pick his wardrobe for the character?
I'm not sure, but I remember seeing some clips, and there was a lot of dark clothing. Maybe I'm misremembering this, but one tidbit I remember seeing is they said there is one shot he was used in the movie, and do you remember the scene when they're in the cafe and like Biff punches Marty?
Vaguely. No, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I've seen the first one. Since I've seen any of them, actually.
There was something where like Marty gets. I think I remember this. This is my favorite movie. But there's some scene. I think it was when he punched Biff. Is that what it was to run out? And that was Eric Stoltz in the shot.
Oh, interesting.
It's something like that.
Cool.
Or maybe no. I remember now. There was a shot of from behind Marty, and you could see the 3 of them, and I think that head was the head of Eric Stoltz.
Cool.
So they just used him like in B footage or whatever.
Just another tidbit of something cool.
Well, back then you could do that.
Oh
yeah, I'm sorry.
Bring that ashtray over here too, buddy. Might as well put it in the middle.
Just in case you need that.
There we go.
I've been holding on to that a little bit.
One of my favorite scenes from Animal House, not even scene, just line, is that scene where they first go to smoke with Donald Sutherland. He's the professor.
I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen it?
Yeah, I don't even know the scene you're talking about.
I saw that movie way too young.
I think you might have to relight that. Yeah, I was going down. I just remember like the mashed potato, like.
What am I now?
Yeah.
I'm a zit.
Yeah.
Get it?
Just those stupid things, or when he breaks the guitar. All just like random clips.
That entire scene was ad-libbed.
Oh, he broke the
Where he
guitar.
broke the guitar. Yeah, at least I'm fairly certain. Please don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty certain. Anyway, no, there's the scene where they go to smoke with Donald Sutherland for the first time, and the
Rip.
nerd, the yeah, R.I.P. shit. And the nerdy guy, he like before he takes the joint from him, he looks at him in his eyes. He goes, "It's not gonna make me freak out, is it?" And Donald Sutherland looks at him with this sly grin and goes, "There's a distinct possibility."
There's a distinct
There's a
possibility.
distinct possibility. Yeah, again, that was a movie that I saw way too fucking young. My cousin Ronnie turned me onto that in like 7th grade.
Yeah, those National Lampoon movies. I don't.
Oh, that
Those
guy,
older
that
movies.
guy just died too. The fucking dude from National Lampoons.
Not Tim something.
Was it Tim? Do you remember Batman Forever?
Yes.
Do you remember the guy that Jim Carrey kills when he's in the office at night? He like knocks this dude out, ties him up, and like he puts that headpiece on him that like pulls your consciousness, and like he's gathering your
It's
consciousness.
been so long since I've seen that
Alright, so
movie.
that maybe that's a bit too obscure. Yeah, the dude who started National Lampoons is like plays the boss in that scene. And I'm pretty sure he just recently died too. He's been in a lot of shit, dude. If you saw his face, I promise.
Yeah,
you
I'm
you'd
sure
know
I
who
have
it
because
was.
he probably does cameos and shit
Oh,
like
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, R.I.P. to him too.
Although those older boomers are dying
Yeah,
off. All those guys in
yeah.
the 40s they're all anyone born in 40 on is 80 to 84 right
yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of crazy.
I mean, life just kind of goes. You know, Father Time is undefeated. You know, what have we been saying to these fucking kids at work? Like, you literally blink and you're in your 40.
It's crazy how fast it goes.
Well, it's wild.
There are kids that I worked with at that biscuit house in 2018, and they're all like in their 26, 27 now. And
Yeah.
they're pushing 30.
Oh yeah.
You know, for me, 7 years ain't shit anymore.
Oh no, dude,
But
it's a fucking drop in the
But
pan.
it's
man.
also crazy how much it is at the same time.
I'm telling you.
Like I keep thinking, like, wow, I still maybe if I'm lucky, got 30, 40 years left. And you're like, it's crazy because it's like you're like, well, it is a lot of time. But you're like, yeah, but it isn't either.
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's
so weird.
Absolutely not.
You
I mean,
know?
yeah, just ask yourself how you feel being 42.
Well, that's
And
kind
it's
of
like-
where
and
the
then you
solace
th-
comes in
and then
because I
you
think
think,
like,
like,
well,
damn.
42 years. It's not like I blank and I was born yesterday. It doesn't feel that way. I mean,
Sure.
the time does pass by.
Sure.
You know, looking forward in your brain, I think when you look at time in a forward-moving way, yeah, it moves fast.
Yeah.
But when you think about like how long 40 years actually is, like,
Oh, sure.
it's a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, if you get another 40 years, like that's still pretty good.
Dude, I don't know that I've got another 40 years with my lifestyle. Like, I truly don't know. And I'm not saying that in like a trying to be a negative way, but I mean, like, I'm a realistic person. You know, you gotta do these things with your brain, not your heart. Just like gambling.
Yeah, it's everyone's different.
Yeah.
You know, some people there's people who are really healthy, die of heart attacks.
Flojo. Do you
Yeah.
remember when Flojo died?
Flojo.
She was an Olympic runner, like peak
That
health.
sounds so familiar.
She died of like a fucking aneurysm or something, or it could have been a heart attack. I can't remember. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was a heart attack. But like, that's some fluke shit. You know, how have I not had one at my age? You know,
Well,
knock on
I think
wood.
my-
Holy shit, famous last words.
My dad's mom smoked since she was like, I don't know how old, but she was well into her 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just some people are just get lucky,
Yeah.
you know? Like fucking Billy Bean died of leukemia.
Nuts.
Like it's gnarly.
Nuts.
It's crazy.
I want good quality of life.
Yeah,
I think that's like my biggest thing.
I
Like,
think you're getting that.
I mean, I don't know. You know, if we're having a real talk, like something I think about pretty often. You know, being diabetic. Don't judge me having this drink, please. Save your comments for the comment section.
Oh, they will.
No, they will.
If they do.
But a big fear that I have is amputation, losing my feet, losing my hands, losing my legs.
But Don't you have to be like really irresponsible for that to happen?
To be fucking frank, dude, I'm not even sure. I've never asked these questions.
I've always assumed those people are just like still going to McDonald's, sucking down Diet Coke. Be like,
I mean,
"Oh,
like
let's diet."
I mean, I'll eat fast food. I fuck with fast food,
but not like 3 times a
no,
day.
no, absolutely not.
I think those are the people that are
absolutely
more susceptible to that.
not. Yeah,
I assume. Again, I'm speaking out of just my ass here, but
sure. I mean, I guess all I can speak to is how I feel about it. You
Like
know?
if you were still as big as you were in your 20s, I'd be like, yeah, you might need to be worried a little
now's
bit.
the time, buddy.
But I mean, you've made a few adjustments.
Yeah,
and,
I'm
you know,
down,
that's
yeah.
more than what most people do.
Like I told you earlier, I think the heaviest was like 280, 290. I'm sitting at like 240 something
Yeah.
right now. You know, do you know? Tell me if you remember this. The catalyst to me losing the weight was basically Chris and I. Or were you involved in this too? Where we just literally we gave up all carbs, all sugar.
Was that when I was in Phoenix?
Maybe. Because like Chris
Or
and
was
I,
this after I left for Florida?
I can't remember for sure.
Were you dating Kat?
No.
Okay, so it's before
So
then.
then this was still Fargo.
Yeah,
This was still
so this might
Fargo
have been when I was in
apartment.
Phoenix, or you guys are doing it, and I was like, all right,
Yeah,
good luck
dude.
with that.
We just fucking committed to it, and I literally lost 30 pounds, like no joke, in less than a month. Like it just fucking came off, and I've been able to keep it off this whole time. And this was, I mean, I've been with, you know, Kat's episode, you know, Kat's chapter has been 10 years. That was a year or two, maybe 3 or 4 prior. You know?
Okay,
So
that adds up. Because I ended up doing that too in 14,
mhm.
and same thing. I just stopped eating, just drinking soda, eating fast food, cut out carbs. So when I was at work, if I got like, it was at Yard House, they had like turkey sliders. I just eat that without the bun, or
Yeah.
sliders, no bun, just salad instead of fries, shit like that. I did that for a month or two, and just
Dude,
I just fell right off.
unfucking real. I'm curious to know that if I tried to do that shit now, like, would I have the same result?
I'm sure.
You think? Like, imagine me svelte. Are you kidding me?
It's just hard to do,
bro.
and then maintaining it also. But like you can go, you know, again, you gotta do what works for you, and that's kind of what the challenge is finding that balance. But like, it's not easy to do. I remember having to cheat a few times, and I like pizza. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
like, it was really hard for that first month. But like once you get it, it's just like you just gotta find like a balance. You know what I mean? Where you don't have to do it all unless you like starving yourself of bread. But
I love carbs.
you know, yeah, that's the thing. Like they're hard to avoid too.
Pasta.
They're in everything. Yeah.
They are
But
literally in fucking everything.
Again, like there is this guy named Jocko. I love this guy. He has a saying like where discipline equals freedom.
Oh, you have mentioned.
Yeah, and that's kind of where that comes from, because if you're really disciplined in those whatever you set your goal for, month, 45 days, 60 days, you know, when you meet that goal, or by being able to doing it all, it allows you know that discipline is going to equal that freedom to maybe I can have a fry or two, maybe I, you know, but you got to be good about not falling off that bandwagon and be like, well, now I can have a bucket of fries.
See, and I like fuck with shit, and like I know what I should be eating. Like I fuck with just some grilled fucking chicken and some fucking asparagus.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
some
that.
salt and pepper. Finish that bitch off with a little bit of lemon. Fucking ideal. But they make the food so good.
I know. That's the
burgers and
thing.
The chicken fingers.
And the bread is so good.
You know?
It adds so much to everything.
Steve Barnhart, you are to blame, sir.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, it's really hard to do, but you know, if you can always switch to more of a. See, that's the thing. Like, protein diets are good. It's just expensive to eat that way now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but again, you don't have to go in that direction. You can just buy a bag of frozen chicken breast and buy a huge bag of whatever vegetable you want. Just eat on them. But again, that gets boring over time.
Yes.
Just got to find ways to mix it up. Like sometimes if I do steak, I'll throw an egg on it.
I mean,
You know what I mean? That's some good protein.
Fuck yeah.
You know, fat from
I fuck
from
with
the
an egg.
yolk. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
You know, one of the biggest things for me that helped was the deli meats, and I know that those are not great. Like those are processed as fuck, a lot of sodium. Like they're not
but
not
still,
fucking great.
It's not fucking McDonald's.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
And that,
I used to buy cheese in the deli meat, just fucking eat cheese, wrap it around.
that was kind of what we were doing.
Well, you don't
like,
eat mayo, but just mayo. man.
absolutely don't. Are we gonna have the mayo conversation?
No, we don't have to. It's fine.
I mean, we can.
I want to fling mayo at your face.
If we're looking for content, we can talk about it. But you are not flinging mayonnaise.
It sounds like you
face.
really want to talk about this.
Well, I just need people to understand how fucking disgusting it is.
Here, have a bite of this sandwich.
And how did you know I was hungry? I ain't ate nothing this morning.
Mayonnaise you ordered.
Yum, yum.
Enjoy.
This is the best stuff.
despise it on a cellular level.
Mayonnaise is
I
good.
mean, no, it's fucking not.
It adds flavor.
It adds nothing. It adds nothing
creamy.
but disgust. It's fucking horrible.
You fuck with that Portillo's chocolate cake
That's chocolate cake with
with
icing.
mayonnaise.
It doesn't matter. That's chocolate cake. That's
I'll ignore
chocolate
it.
cake.
I'll just look the other way.
That's chocolate cake, and it's delicious. No, mayonnaise is texturally appalling. I think appalling is a good word.
There's got to be some bet you would make
No.
where I am allowed to fling mayo at your face if I win it.
Give me 10K.
No, that's not a bet. That's just a payoff. I might
Listen.
give you $100.
Listen,
but
bro.
feeling generous.
Listen, man. If you want to fling mayo at my face, that's the price. Okay, so we can continue to negotiate, or you can or you can buck up and find me 10K. If you really want to do it that bad.
I'm gonna. It's not just no. It's not one spoonful of mayonnaise.
Oh, you're talking
I would
like
dunk you in a mayo tank.
like sitting on.
Or
one of
I
those-
just, like pre-split, like one of those big ones we have at work,
Oh,
and then have you sit in
no.
a chair, and just like, and
Oh,
so
and
it just breaks on your face.
And honestly,
you
like
get
if you
blasted in the face with mayo.
honestly, if you cut that tub in half, you could probably like turn it upside down, and it would like just be shaped kind of like my face. And you could just smash my face right.
Yeah,
in
that would
That'd
be great.
That would be horrible.
Or
that would be,
mayonnaise pie and just whoosh. For 10K, I
the
think.
worst is if I didn't expect it.
And you
I
have to have
didn't
your
see it
mouth
coming.
open.
Oh, you fucking prick.
For 10K,
Uh,
you can do $100 and just get it flung at you like with the way they do those crazy.
500. 500.
Dave's that's the Dave Scanlon. Dave's negotiating.
500.
500.
Yeah,
Oh.
500. How far away are we talking?
Oh no, I'm within 3 feet.
Oh, so you're like
maybe even 2.
you're in my shit.
Oh yeah, like I'm not missing. And if I miss your face, I get another shot, especially for 500.
Okay, I can agree to that.
All right. 500, huh?
I need to get some water. I'll be right back.
All right, so Dave, you used to be a general manager at a restaurant. We've talked about restaurants on this podcast before, even recently. I haven't released that one yet, but I have one coming out. No, I did. That was the React video that's just been posted.
There we go.
So we talked about restaurants. I'm fascinated with the fact that you used to be a general manager, and I know you have stories. I've told me some. Can you even remember any right now? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
I mean, I don't have any stories. You know, it was my first foray into it. So I kind of just tried to like keep my head low at first, just do what I was told, try to get results, any way that I can. And it kind of was just like a day-to-day thing. Like there really wasn't anything special about it. I can tell you that I really didn't enjoy doing it though.
What about the administration side of it? Did you have like a lot of meetings with your boss?
So we
how
did,
did that work?
We did was it Sunday night? I feel like it was a Sunday night. And I think it was a phone call because I remember sitting in the office. This was 800 Degrees Pizza. This was in Evanston on
Okay.
Main Street, I want to say. It was in the space directly across from the Citibank. The office was very small. It was a phone call. We all went in order. It was the same order every week.
So like each store?
Each store,
Okay.
yeah. I feel like I remember I was always last. Now again, this is a long time ago, and my memory's not great. But I always feel like I went last. And basically, we would just say, "Here's the week's numbers. Here's what we did here. Here's what we did here. Here's what we did here." And I always kind of saw them as just like a fucking dick stroking thing, like, "Oh, you're doing great," "Oh, this guy's not. Let's," that kind of thing. I understand communication, but that's nothing that couldn't have happened in an email,
Also, you just have to sit there and listen to somebody like, "Oh, so this quarter we did 700 in sales."
Yeah, and then we have this event coming up. We're partnering, yada yada, blah 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 blah. That's kind of how I felt. That's kind of how I felt.
Oh my god.
I had no idea what I was doing though. I was wet behind the ears the entire 8 months.
Did you have to run meetings within the store?
Yes.
How'd that go?
That was fine. I mean, I can sit down and talk to a group of people about something.
So that wasn't as daunting.
No, bro. You know me. I can talk. I can talk to people. That's never been a problem. But all right, 800 Degrees wasn't bad.
Okay.
My first foray. It was fucking Bar Louie.
Well,
It was
why
Bar Louie.
did
That was a
you
bad experience.
leave 800 Degrees?
Oh, I'll tell you. So
This I don't even remember.
So 800 Degrees was originally a company out of California. It
Okay.
was a stone oven company. 800 degrees was the temperature in that we cooked these pizzas in. It was a fast casual kind of concept. Like, I mean, similar to a Chipotle. You come in, here's your crust, what kind of base,
like Blaze pizza.
Essentially,
Yeah,
yes. You know, you go down the fucking line, you do your things, you see the thing being cooked, they call your number, you come get your shit. But they, out in California, they had a lot of late night business, so they just assumed, the way that I saw it, that we were so close to Northwestern that business was going to basically run itself.
Okay.
It's close to a college town. Sure. They're always out late. This could be a fucking cash cow. In theory, absolutely. But even before I got the job, I never saw a lot of marketing. I didn't really see them in my social setting. So for all I know, they weren't really doing anything. They could have been booming on Northwestern campus if that's like the demographic they're going for. I would have never known. I'm not on campus. But in my eyes, I don't think that they marketed themselves enough, so business wasn't there. And I remember when I'd first taken over, we were still open till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we wouldn't get anybody from like 8:30 to like midnight, and then maybe midnight a small little pop would come in, but that was like the extent of it. Eventually it got to the point where like, all right, we're not going to be open as late. Okay, now we're not going to be open on Mondays. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall. Like, even it being my first time, you know, seeing those kinds of numbers and trying to understand them, I could still see the writing on the wall. I was like, okay, this is dwindling down. Who knows how much longer this is going to go. So it kind of just got to the point where we were just kind of going through the motions. You know, like I said, I saw the writing on the wall. It seemed inevitable. And then one week, this guy, Sean, who was the regional director, he would come once a month. We'd have a sit down, he and I, touch base, you know, blah, blah, blah. One day I'm expecting him, and I think the guy's name was Sean something. Sean's there. And I'm like, what's up, man? Like, what are you doing here? And pretty much without skipping a beat, he's like, we're closing the restaurant. I came with paychecks.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, damn.
I'm like, wow. Okay.
Oh, shit.
And that's the first time that had ever happened to me. It's not a great feeling. You know, like I said, it wasn't a super great experience for me, but like, nobody likes to be fucking. Oh, damn.
All good.
You got it?
Yeah, we're good.
You know, nobody wants to be fucking felt like they were played.
Yeah.
You know, so they just shut us down.
Oh, damn.
I was able to get a lot of kitchenware though, so that was a plus of the situation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with some tongs, some fucking silverware.
Did you have to tell the employees, or did he do it?
No, we did sort of like tag team the whole thing.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. I sent out like a mass text at first, and then I had to like go find the people's, you know, whose numbers I didn't have already in my phone. You know, please let other people know, spread the word. You know, just so everybody's aware. Come get your paycheck. It's over.
Oh, damn.
You know? So they shut down.
Oh, damn.
And I was just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna stick it out. Let's, you know, no. Rewind.
So they laid you off too, technically.
Correct.
Okay. So you didn't file for unemployment?
No. But
you would have gotten it.
I had talked to Sean. I pulled him aside. I'm like, my guy, like this is pretty fucked. Like I've got bills to pay. Like what the fuck? Dude writes me a check for like $2,500.
Oh, damn.
He's like, if this helps, please use this if this helps. He didn't. It seemed like he didn't want it to happen, but he knew that he had to from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
You know. I understand the whole business side of it. It doesn't, you know, it still hurts. But sometimes when you got people barking up your fucking skirt, like, hey, this is what we want, you know.
Yeah, hands are tied.
Yeah, you know, it was a foregone conclusion.
You probably petty cash that. I bet.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible.
So how'd you end up? Did you just start going into the trades and looking for another job? Is that how you found Barlowy?
I wanted to stick around in the industry, and Brandon from Red Robin,
yeah.
My fucking boy, Grisbeck, shout out my boy, was like, hey man, I joined Bar Louie, they're looking for managers, like get in on this shit. I'm like, fucking sweet, cool, let's do it. easy. You know, it was an easy decision. So I ended up doing the interview at the Skokie location,
I remember that.
and then I got a position at the Oak Brook location.
Oh, okay.
Now, I've lived in the city. I was in Andersonville at that time, you know, now in fucking Edgewater. It's not very close to
No,
Oak Brook.
It's a little bit far.
It's
Yeah,
a little
it's
far.
smidge far.
So fast forward, I'm at fucking Bar Louie. I'm managing, kind of doing my thing. They decide they want to let the GM go. They offer me the position.
Oh,
I
damn!
say, why not? Cool. I hated it. I can't implore that. I can't explain that.
What was that like administration side, like we were just talking about? Did you have to sit through like 7 guys being like, oh, blah, 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 or was it even more corporate?
No, so that was where I was implemented. It's not the right word. This is where I was shown the spreadsheet. It was almost like a spreadsheet. Basically, it was like an Excel spreadsheet. You just, you know, fucking
I think we had that too on a
copy,
flats.
paste,
Yeah.
put it there, send it out an email, and like that was how the information was done. So thankfully, no boring fucking phone calls there, no, you know, none of that. Wow, I haven't thought about.
You didn't, so would the regional director just pop in and be like, yo, and then how's it going? Good. That's it. And then
Yeah,
walk out basically.
Pretty
easy
much.
peasy.
So this was kind of a different vibe too. So the location I worked for was franchised.
Oh, okay.
So it was owned by a gentleman named Lakani. This was an Indian guy. What was his first name? Okay, it was called Lakani Hospitality. They owned 3 Holiday Inns, and all those Holiday Inns had a Bar
Louie, like the one in
Louie.
Skokie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
I guess when you open up a franchise, they'll give you the option to put a bar or something else in there if you want, and then you'll have like your pick of 3 or 4.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where were we?
Just administration stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. It was like I said, there was the copy and paste. We sent that email. That was essentially the extent of it.
Yeah, and then you only saw the regional director here and
Yeah.
there. So you also would have to do meetings with the managers.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like to touch base. Here's what's up. Here's what they say. Here's what they need. Here's what they want. New things here. Promotions there.
did you ever have the server manager like being like, "Oh, this fucking guy's a dick"?
No,
or-
actually, yeah.
Okay.
I really kind of let I had a server manager and a bar manager, and I really just kind of like let them do their thing. Like I didn't feel like I deserved the position. Honestly,
It's like imposter syndrome,
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. I knew it just felt off, you know. So I kind of just left them to their devices. Nothing big came up. There was no issues or anything like that. So I would say it was a successful course. But yeah, no, I kind of just let them do their own thing, and it seemed to kind of just fall into place and seemed to work out fine.
I remember you telling me though, like you just didn't like how everyone was looking to you for the answers.
Never a day off. Phone constantly fucking ringing. Moments where it's like, oh, the ice machine's not doing this, and I'm like, hey, you see the front of the ice machine? They're like, yeah. And I say, you see that sticker on the lower right corner? They're like, yeah. I was like, what's it got on there? It's like, it's a phone number. Yeah, yeah. Call the fucking phone number. You know, that actually did happen.
Did you ever notice people would act differently around you?
No.
No.
I was never an authoritarian type person. Like, we're all just there to do our fucking jobs, and as long as you do it the right way, fuck am I gonna say, you know? What?
I'm just trying to picture you like walking. Like if I was there and I saw you walk out, I'd be like, "Oh, Dave's here." You know, what I mean, it would be like the old bowling alley story.
Sure,
but at the same time, I'd be like, "This guy's the boss." It'd just be so. Like, I guess I could understand what you mean, but for me, it'd just be like comical to watch all this happen.
You're like, this guy's not real.
Yeah, like, oh, you can't do that. Dave might get mad. Like, what?
Mhm.
What?
No, like if everybody is doing their job the right way, it's part of that positive mental attitude thing. Here we go, full circle.
Yeah.
As long as everything's fine, like there's no need to be a dick. As long as it's going the way that it needs to, everybody should just be fucking happy, you know?
Well, then what happened with that job?
Oh,
Did they fire you? Is that what
they sure
did
did.
Oh, damn!
It kind of
Yeah,
blew the story
so-
there. Sorry.
Couple months go by. things are, you know, running the way that they are. And I think it was, it wasn't New Year's. It was some big drinking night. The restaurant was full. Everybody was fucking busy, and everybody did a great job. So at the end of that night, I was like, fuck this. Like, me, the previous GM had already stopped drinking in house. No more shift beers, just too many shenanigans, too much nonsense, and all this stuff like happened.
People banging in the booth.
I mean, that's from what I'm to understand.
Oh,
damn!
Wow, I was just throwing that out there. I didn't think I was going to hit that one on the bullseye.
I actually don't know that that's true.
Okay.
But it had already been an issue before I took over, so before they let that other GM go, like, we had said, hey, we're putting the nix on that, not happening anymore, you're done. But this night was especially fucking busy, and I felt that they deserved a drink. So I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, guys, it was me, Amy, my AGM, like 2 servers, and like 3 bartenders. And I remember going behind the bar, pouring everybody a drink, doing a shot of Rumplemints, and I fucking don't forget. I woke up in my fucking room.
Oh no!
Swear to fucking God, bro. I'd had like a beer and a half and that shot. That was fucking it, and it was fucking lights out.
Were you at the restaurant and woke up in your room?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
But apparently we had been drinking till like 6 a.m. The fucking hotel manager came in. We were still sitting at the bar, apparently. I don't remember any of this. Still sitting at the bar. We're just drunk and fucking, you know, being fucking stupid and being loud. He was so pissed. This guy's name was Axis. A-X-S-I-S. Axis. Competed, I think it said in the Olympics for fucking judo. Yeah, like
Jesus.
this dude was kind of intimidating. Irrelevant. That's not part of the story. but I wake up in my room the next day. I had to open.
Oh, lovely.
I had to open.
Lovely.
And I remember sauntering around, going to, you know, they always had breakfast for us. That was a perk of it, because it was a restaurant, it was a hotel. That's where they served all the breakfast. So like every morning when I came in, I had eggs, I had sausage, I had toast, like just here you go, knock yourself out. And you know how I fuck with my breakfast food. So I remember eating something and just, I'm not there. Every movement is like, I'm gonna throw up on myself.
Oh, I remember those.
The fucking, I can't look at the light. Everything is
it's
loud as
borderline
fuck.
alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm like, I have to go home. I have to go home. So I end up going home. 2-3 days go by. Everything seems fine. They don't bring anything up.
Okay.
I had not known about what had happened yet. So this is when they, like, a couple days goes by, and like, all right, how do we approach this now, you know? And that was when they're like, so this is what happened. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, hearing it out loud, I felt like a fucking degenerate.
I don't know if I've ever heard this.
I might not have ever told you.
Yeah.
Well,
this sounds like a great spot to tell me.
yeah, no, honestly, better now than ever. They sit me down in the fucking room, and they're like, here's what happened. We have you on camera. Because there's cameras everywhere.
Right.
You know, it's a fucking hotel with the restaurant. There's cameras going on. They're like, basically, like, we're parting ways with you.
But what'd you do?
I just took it.
No, but what they say, we have you on camera.
Oh, be like, you're drinking. You're not supposed to be drinking.
Okay.
Like, that's product. That's not yours to just hand out. You know.
Consume. Yeah.
They were gentle, but I could tell they were fucking angry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I mean, understandably so. What I consider a fairly new GM. I'd only been a GM of 800 Degrees for like 8 months. You know, here at fucking Bar Louie, it only been like maybe 6 or 7. So like, you know, barely a year experience as a fucking GM. Yeah, and they fucking let me go. And I got in my car and I never went back.
Never went back.
I never went back.
I didn't have to do that route out there.
It was horrible, dude. They wanted me there at like 8 o'clock every morning, which means I'm leaving here minimum 7, maybe 6:30. You know, leaving. And back in these days, I wasn't really good about being up early like I am now. I fucking love my early hours, dude. Like I was up at like 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm still here. You know. I like my early mornings, but back then that was not the vibe. They wanted me there every day at fucking 8, and I had to stay until 6 10-hour days. They were strict about those 10-hour fucking days. So I'm catching the fucking morning rush hour and I'm catching the fucking night rush hour every single fucking day.
So gay.
It took a toll on me, dude. It took a fucking toll on me, and I think it sort of made me not care, which I think could have been the
Catalyst.
for being like, all right, fuck it, let's have a drink. You deserve it. Fuck the rules. Let's just do it. My intentions were not to fucking do that at all. But it happened, so I live with the consequences. It's something that I think about pretty fucking frequently. Like it's not a moment that I'm proud of.
No, but I mean, mistakes happen. You're just doing what you thought was best.
Yeah.
And honestly, if kind of shut that party down a little earlier, probably would have been all right. But that's what happens.
I have more to add.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So years later, when I'm managing Rock Bottom, this boss this guy Ricky, he was a food runner, he was a server, worked his way up to bartender, shows up at the fucking Rock Bottom rooftop one day. And we hadn't spoken since I left. This is the first time I've seen him. This is, mind you, years later. And we're talking, and he's like, what the fuck? What happened, man? Like, fill me in. So I told him what happened and how I remember drinking the beer, taking the shot, lights out, nothing. He's looking at me as I'm telling this story, and he's like, something similar happened to me with the people that I was hanging out with that night. Yeah. Ricky found out that his issue was they fucking roofied him. They put something in his fucking drink.
Who's they?
They would be
employees.
Employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the name anyone.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
No.
But other employees. And these were two specific employees that I kind of felt the closest with. Like, I talked to them, well, more him than her, but I talked to them like just normally, and I liked them. They were very cool people, but it's the only plausible explanation. I'm telling you, I had, for the sake of conversation, no more than 2 beers and a shot, bro. That's not putting me down.
But so I guess so. It doesn't like knock you out.
No, it keeps you going, but like.
Eventually,
everything is just fucking like
interesting.
Gone to the fucking wind, bro.
Yeah.
You're just like succumbing to your fucking instincts at that point,
Wow. So it's like a blackout pill.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were. I was told that we were still drinking. That's when they got there at 6 a.m. I don't remember any of it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Very good.
No, I just want to make sure the mic was on still.
Actually, let's take a quick break. I haven't talked about that.
Wow,
I haven't talked about that in a really long time.
All right.
I'm really enjoying this, bro. Yeah.
Why is that?
I've never really talked about myself before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard to believe it or not.
I'm humble as fuck, dude. It's not about me.
Well, not a lot of people want to like openly talk about those things, but
Sure.
still, it's cool that you're willing to.
I fucking love talking about that shit,
Yeah.
bro. But I guess I think part of it too is like I don't really like to talk about myself. I don't always feel like I deserve the credit, Done some stupid shit.
Oh, who hasn't?
There you go.
Yeah,
Like
some people are willing to be more open about it than others.
Yeah, I don't want to go into specifics just yet.
Yeah, I gotcha.
There's actually a line in The Office, where Pam is talking to the Michael Scott Paper Company. No, that's not what it was. Sorry. Was talking to, was it the job? Oh, was it the job fair maybe?
Yeah.
And Pam comes back and Michael's like, where were you? She's like, I had something going on. That's as specific as I'd like to be. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm
That's
feeling.
as specific
That's
as
as
I'd like.
specific as I'd like to be. I've done some shit I'm not proud of. But yeah, I'm enjoying this, man. This is pretty cool.
It's fun to do. I mean, I like doing it by myself. It's just fun to ramble into a mic, as most of my episodes are, but it's cool to bounce it off someone as well.
Very true.
You can see why some of these are done with 2 people. It's hard to do a podcast by yourself.
Yeah, I can.
Not lying, it's not easy to just sit there and just talk to yourself over and over, but it can be done.
Sure. You do really good with the eye contact on your other ones, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, this one's a little bit more difficult because usually they have the screen right behind it, but as you can see, my eyes are darting off that way, so it's a little bit off, but it's still fine. Yeah. Do what you can.
Trying to see the TV behind the light.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult. All right, people in the comments, do I look fat? Be honest,
This is
please.
what Dave wants to know.
I need to know. This is information that I feel that I need. Thank you for your honesty.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Well, I think with that, we'll probably wrap it up.
I
We
think
got an
we're
hour and a
good.
half going.
I think we're okay.
Yep, I think
All
it's
right.
good.
Well,
We
Joe,
could probably go for another hour and a half too, but
Honestly, we
we'll
probably
save it for
could.
another time.
No, let's do
There's
it.
plenty more episodes to go here.
I would like to do this again. For real.
I'm down. Let's do it. Thanks for coming out, Dave.
I love you,
I really
dude.
appreciate it.
I love
you,
you,
brother.
bro.
I love you.
Let's let the world know how
Oh,
we
yeah.
feel about each
Oh, yeah.
other.
We will.
My
Thanks,
boy.
Dave. I
All
love
right,
you,
bro.
buddy.